Hello everyone, my name is Zach and I'm a current Software 2 grader, and in this video guide I'm going to show you how to use the stdlinux environment and the command line in order to write and compile BugsWorld files for the upcoming BugsWorld lab. So the reason why I wanted to make this sort of video guide is that last semester when it came time to having to compile and make the BugsWorld files, there were a lot of questions, a lot of confusion. Piazza was getting flooded, and it was, a lot of confusion and stuff like that. And I also thought that it would be a good idea to show a little bit about how the command line works and some useful commands, as when you're taking Systems 1 to Systems 2, everything is sort of used in the Linux environment. So I feel that it would be really good to get a head start now. So, if you're on a personal computer, you're going to need two pieces of software in order to do this. First, you're going to need Pulse Secure or Pulse VPN. You should already have this. You should already know how to use it, as you need it to access your repositories. So I'm not going to explain how to get it, how to use it, because you should already know that. The other program that you need is FastX 2, and this is what we use to actually access the Linux environment. Now, this software is available for the Office of the Chief Information Officer. So we can install it by going onto ocio.osu.edu. Then, if you click on Services, it's going to bring you to a little thing here. You can click here to sign in, and it's going to send you a Duo notification. After this, click on Order Services, Software Services, Site License Software Request. Now, you're going to have to put in your phone number. Once you hit Next, it takes a little bit before it loads up, and here you can select any of the softwares that you want. We're going to install FastX v2. Click here. Install on Windows or Mac. Student. Click on Next, and you're obviously on a personally owned computer. It's going to delete one of these, and then from here you go to Checkout, and then they'll send you an email with the download link in order to download it. So once you have that downloaded, we're ready to connect to the stdlinux environment. So if you click on FastX 2, it's going to load up, and now we need to actually have establish a connection to the CSE environment. Now, if you were the one who set up the repository for the version control lab, then you might already have this, depending on what computer you did it on. However, if not, it's very easy to establish a connection. Just click on the plus button here, and then SSH. For name, you can name it whatever you want. I'm just going to call it CSE stdlinux. You can name it whatever you want. Now, for the host name, it's stdlinux.csc.ohio-state.edu. You have the port 22. For user, just use your name.number. Hit enter or save. It's going to automatically connect for you, and just put in your university password. Also, make sure you're connected to the COE network first on Pulse before you do this, or else it's going to be hung up and you won't know what to do. So you put in your password, and if it says stdlinux up here, stdlinux.csc.ohio-state.edu, you're in. So now we're going to create a window for the command line. Click on plus, and there are three options here. KDE is a full-fledged Linux environment. We're not going to use this. Mate is a simpler graphical Linux environment, and this works. However, like I said, we're going to be sticking to Xterm, which is the command line or the terminal window. We're going to be sticking with this as we're going to be sticking with this so I can show you how all these commands work. So once you enter, you'll see your username at CSE-some server name. And we are currently in our home directory. Now, we're going to be using several commands in this tutorial. Every command has three parts to it: the name of the command, 0 or more parameters and 0 or more flags. So the parameters are usually file names or directories that you want to manipulate or do whatever with, and the flags are used to slightly modify the behavior of our command. For instance, if we want to see what is currently in our home directory, we use the ls, or the list. So as you see, I have some folders here. You're going to have desktop, downloads, music, pictures, templates, documents, Perl, public, and videos. I have a couple other folders, BugsWorld from last semester, Systems 1, grading stuff. Now, we can use certain flags. They always start with a dash. For instance, the -L flag will give everything a more detailed view, and it's sorted by the alphabet. If you want to just go up one, just hit the up arrow and it'll copy command. You can go up the line. The T flag sorts everything by by the latest modification date, and you can combine flags too. So if we do ls-lt, it's giving us a detailed view sorted by the modification date. Now, if you want to see all the different possibilities, all the different flags, you can use the man command or manual. You can also just look this up on Google, but if you want to just do it right here, if you want to see all the different options of ls, you can hit man ls. It'll give you this whole thing. You use E to scroll down, W to scroll back up, and it tells you every single kind of flag you can use. Just hit Q to quit. So now we want to create a BugsWorld directory. I'm going to create a new one for this semester, and to do that, the command is called mkdir, or make directory. And then we actually just put in the directory name. So I'm going to call this BugsWorld SP20 for spring semester 2020. And if I use the ls command again, you can see that it's now here. Now, to enter the directory, we use the cd command, or the change directory command. So if we just type in BugsWorld SP20, we hop into the BugsWorld SP20 folder. Now, you can also go backwards. If you have a little squiggly thing, tilde, it will take you back to your home directory. 2 dots goes up a level, or also just hitting plain old CD goes to the home directory. You can go several directories deep. Say I wanted to access lab 4 of systems 1. I have a directory in there called lab 4. It takes me straight into lab 4. If I want to hop into BugsWorld from here, I can do cd tilde to get me back to the home / BugsWorld SP20. And as you see, I'm back in BugsWorld. So this command is very versatile, and there's a lot of stuff you can do for it. And once we have files, there are a couple other commands that you might want to use. The rm command will remove a file or a directory. If you're removing a directory, you have to have the R flag, as it means recursive, and that's how directories are deleted. So if I wanted to make a directory called foo, I can remove foo directory, remember the R flag, and it's no longer there. As you can see, there's nothing in there. And also, when it comes to deleting things, removing things, and you're trying to remove all items that start with something or end with something, you can use what's known as the wildcard or the asterisk. For instance, if I want to remove all my BugsWorld output files for some reason, I can say rm star.bo, which will basically remove every file that ends in .bo. And this is another very versatile thing. If you have 2 asterisks here, that means there's a BO somewhere in here, or a .b somewhere in there. The question mark is 1 character. So if you want to be a little more specific, you don't want a .bin or a dot some other extension that starts with a B, just BL or BO, or any two-letter thing that starts with a B. Again, very versatile. You won't really be getting much into this now, but in Systems 1, if you have to do some extensive refactoring, this will become very handy. Two other commands that are useful: CP, or copy, which just copies a file from one file to another file, and you can use our directory manipulation to, in one line, move stuff from one directory to another or copy it. DMV, very similar, moves it, so from one directory to another. If you move something in the same directory, you can actually rename it. So if I say I had a file called foo.txt and I wanted to rename it to something else, I can just use mv foo.txt to something else .text. Now it is going to give me an error because foo.txt doesn't exist, but it is possible to rename using this command. And additionally, you won't really be needing this now, but there's also the zip command where you can zip, and then you can put in 0 or more files if you want to put into a zip file, and you can also optionally store into a different directory if you want. Unzip, you can, and then you put in a .zip file here, and it'll unzip it to the current directory, or again, you can also zip it to a different directory. So with that out of the way, we're actually going to write some BugsWorld files now. So we're going to use a text editor in Linux called gedit, which is one of the most basic text editors in Linux. It's almost like Notepad++. If you're writing files in C, it will give you like some syntax highlighting. However, it's not as versatile as other text editors like VI or Emacs. However, for something as simple as BugsWorld, gedit is more than fine. So you call gedit the name of the file you want to edit, and if the file isn't in there, it will make it for you, otherwise it will open it. And then you want to include the ampersand. Now the reason why you want this is that if you don't include the ampersand, then you won't be able to run any commands while this window is open. The ampersand basically says, make this a separate process. So now we have that out of the way, we can actually write to our bug language file. I'm not going to go into explaining bugs language as it is in the slides, and I'm not going to tell you how to write a good bug. You're going to have to do it yourself. So I'm going to write a couple bugs files, and then I'll get back to you. Alright, so I finished writing a couple bugs language files. You can just click here to save. If you see these warnings here, that's just from gedit. If you just click here and hit enter, you're allowed to enter more commands. So now we are going to actually get to compiling the bugs language file. Now this is what's actually coming straight from the homework prompt. So as it says, type in /class/software/bin/bw-compiler. Then we put our input file in these angle braces here. So I'm going to do bug1.bl, and I'm just going to call it bug1out.bo. Again, you want to, as the homework states, you should have your input files be BL, your output files be BO. And no, we're not talking about bad body odor. But if it doesn't say anything, then you successfully compiled it. Now, say I wrote something wrong and wrote something that won't end up compiling. It'll give you an error. It'll tell you kind of where you screwed up. Not really, but it's not as good as Java, but it's better than like C. So keyword if expected found while. Oh, okay, right. And if. Why did I write and while there? It wasn't to totally just demonstrate something, right? Now, if you want to just look into a file without editing it, we can use the cat command, which is just sort of looks into it and it'll just display it on here. So if we wanted to look at the output, it'll give you all these random numbers, and I'm not going to go into explaining what they're for, as you're going to do this later in the semester when it comes to actually generating code. Let's also compile bug2. I'm going to use the wildcard to see if that works. It doesn't work. You can't use the wildcards with this command because it's different, but good job. We compiled both. If we use ls, we have bug1 bl, bug1 out bo, bug2 bl, bug2 out bo. So now we can just close the gedit tabs. We don't need them right now. So now let's actually play some BugsWorld. So the first thing we need to do is to set up the server. Now, something that's very important that isn't mentioned on the homework that I really think should be is that once you start the server, it's gonna run, and you know, if you're on one machine, you're adding multiple clients at once, it's a big hassle. So what we can do is when you run it, immediately hit Control Z and it's going to pause the execution of the server, and then when we're ready we can use the FG command that will restart it and let it work. So the moment I hit enter, Control Z, and it'll say stopped. Cool. If you use the -H flag, it'll give you more things about what you can do. You can change the size of the world, you can change the speed, you can change how long it's going to run for, you can change how many bugs there are. So now we have our server running here. So now we're going to create our first client. We need to make another terminal window, and I always like to immediately, first thing, go into your directory. It's a lot easier than doing your directory manipulation. Just hop in here. So now we're going to do the client. So once again, /class/software/bin/bw-client. Now enter program file name. This must be the output file, so your .bo, and make sure it's spelled right, or else it's gonna throw a seg fault. So let's do bug1 out.bo. Now, loading done. The host to connect to. So once you create the server, it says listening at CSE-some server name .coeit.osu.edu : some number. This number here is called the port. It'll usually be 27932, although it could be different depending on how many servers are being ran at the current time. Same for what server name we're on. So the host to connect to, we don't need to do the .coeit.osu.edu. We just need to type in CSE-epsilon. And then the port to connect to, as I said, it was 27932. Now, if you just see a bunch of waiting for reverse connection, that means we're good. We can do this. So now we're going to create a second client, the same way as we did before. Rammer plus xterm. Minimize you. You're going to have a lot of xterm windows open, so just have fun with that. Go into your BugsWorld. Class software, then bw client. Bug2. And this is what I did last semester, as I created several different bugs and I had them go against each other to see which one would be better off for the competition. I still got destroyed, so F in the chat. The same host, same server. Waiting for reverse connection here. Now the last thing we need to do is make the display. Obviously, if you have more clients, more bugs you want to test, if you're playing with your friends, you can obviously add more clients, and you don't have to add the clients on the same computer. You can have multiple computers as long as they're connected to the COE network. Just tell your friends what the server is, what the port is, and you can have some fun. So now, if you log into xterm one more time, you don't need to go into the BugsWorld directory here, because we don't need to load up any BugsWorld servers, or BugsWorld files rather, for make the display. So we can just immediately type in /class software bin bw display. Once again, the port host and the port. Now there's only going to be one waiting for reverse connection here. So once we're ready to begin, we have all our clients in, we have our display ready to go. Now we can hit FG, and once we hit enter, BugsWorld is going to start. So as you can see, species 0 dominated. So that's the first one we entered. As you see, it'll tell you what your species ID has been. So if you need to exit the server or close the display, Control C rather stops it and closes the connection. And if you want to exit the command window, just write in exit. And if you just want to just stop the server altogether, we can do that. One last command is if you have your BugsWorld files and you want to put it in a nice Google Doc so you can print it for homework or whatever, or if your professor has you upload your homework to Carmen or anything like that, and you need to access the internet while you're in the terminal window, just type in Firefox. That is the default browser in our Linux environment. And once again, you have the ampersand, so you can run other commands in here. Now, Firefox does take a little bit longer, so it does take a few seconds, but it will go up, and this is any other. So say I need to see you access Carmen, I can just go into Carmen, no big deal. So I hope this guide has been informative and helpful, and hopefully you're able to create many awesome bugs, many awesome BugsWorld, and I wish you all the best of luck in the BugsWorld competition, and thanks for watching.